Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now today, we saw the inauguration of Joe Biden. Yes, there's a lot of people upset. A lot of people thought it was going to happen in a certain way. Yes, there are many theories out there. But like we've said from the very beginning, we need to remove expectations. Because Trump, the Patriots, they have a plan. We just don't know the inner workings. We're trying to figure it out. Now, all those people that say I give and I'm leaving, well, think back to our founding fathers. Think about when they were trying to form this country. Think about when the British sailed over with this incredible army and they reached the shores. Did the Patriots say, well, I'm done. I give. I need to run. Well, where were they going to run? Where were they going to hide? Where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? There's no place to go. Trump, the Patriots, they showed you their plan. They accelerated it. You're seeing it. You're seeing censorship. They go after businesses. They're going after Trump supporters. They're going after anyone that does not agree with what they want. So those people saying they're out, where are you going? There's no place to go. There's no place to hide. Do you really think you can just go back to your normal life and watch TV and that's the end of it? Think about what they've done here. Think about what they're going to do. This plan wasn't just, oh, let's get rid of Trump. They're going to continue it now. Do you really think Trump came into office, did everything that he had to do, removing the blocks, removing the swamp, putting everything in place? For example, Donald Trump's final number of federal judges confirmed are 234. 1/3 of the Supreme Court, more than a quarter of the U.S. judiciary, more than any president in first term since Jimmy Carter. Largely young, conservative, Federalist Society vetted. They'll serve for generations. Do you think he just placed them on there just to place them on there? There's a reason for all of this. Remove emotion. Remove what you're seeing. Certain things had to be this way. When I said, yes, this is a sting operation, and what happens at the end of a sting operation? There are arrests. When is the right time to make the arrests? Think about Trump. Think about the plan. Does he want a civil war in this country? Well, if he made the arrests during the inauguration and the military moved in, what would the invisible enemy do? We would see riots, wouldn't we? Wouldn't they push everyone that is on standby? Wouldn't we see civil war at that moment? Yes. Actually, we had certain markers that were given to us, certain information. Think about General George Washington, who was the general of the Patriots at the time. Can you imagine after the first battle, all the Patriots with him said, oh, forget this, we're done. We're out of here. I knew it couldn't be won. I knew this battle, that's it, we're out of here. But we can't win it. Where were they going to go? What were they going to do? There's nothing they could do. Yes, do you know George Washington lost more battles than he won? But you know what a patriot does? A patriot never gives up. A patriot fights. A patriot has hope. And what I'm going to explain here is what I do believe is going to happen next here. Remember, yesterday, Trump, he declassified the Crossfire hurricane documentation. Why did he do that? Why did he wait for the last minute? This was at 4:49 p.m. on the 19th. That's marker 1. That was the first watch. Why did he wait? Why didn't he do this way ahead of time? There's a reason why he waited. He's now playing all his cards. Remember, Trump tried to go through every single avenue that was available to him. Following the Constitution, following the rule of law, trying to do the right thing. But what happened? Well, the swamp didn't let him. And we always knew that the military was the only way forward. And optics, remember, optics are very important. If Trump had the military move in while he was still president, what would the mainstream media, what would the rest of the country say about him? He did it because he lost. Joe Biden just completed the crime. He's an illegitimate president. He was voted in using election fraud. He cheated. You think the military wasn't monitoring this the entire time? Yes. But we've always known that Trump had to be neutral in this situation. It couldn't look like he was a sore loser and he was instructing the military to have this coup. The military has their own instructions. They've been following the election. They know the crime that has been committed, and they're waiting. Now, I want to go back before we start explaining all this. Go back to what Trump said. He said, the 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for. Now, the 25th Amendment was supposed to be used on Trump to get rid of him because he wasn't fit to be president. Well, do you think it's going to be used on Biden and his administration because they're not fit to be president? Why aren't they fit? Because they cheated in the election. They're illegitimate. And we know there are certain markers that we are following. Think about all the clues the Patriots were giving us. Mike Pompeo, Trump, Flynn. It wasn't done by accident. Can they tell us the exact plan? No. It's a secret plan. We don't know the inner workings, but they've given us clues. Now, we've already met the first marker, which was the 19th at 4:49. Remember, in this post, there's another marker. This is post 3232. The other marker is the 27th at 3:06. 27th of this month? I think so. Now, let me read something that someone put on the boards here. And we discussed 11.3, and it comes into play in all of this. Let's talk about our health. Research shows us that up to 50% of the U.S. population makes New Year's resolutions, but fewer than 10% will keep them after the first few months. In fact, 27% will have given up on their goals in the first week. 31% will have given up in the first 2 weeks. Just over half will survive the first month. And my resolution for this year is feeling good, working out, getting back on track. And the way I'll be doing this is with Aegis Multi-Collagen. So go to healthwithx22.com and get my favorite collagen for 51% off today so you can look and feel your absolute best. That is healthwithx22.com, or click the link in the description. It says, like many of you, I'm in shock by today's, and then I realized what had happened and what Q told us it would happen and why this needed to happen. Q did tell us that there was a scare event. Yes, Q did tell us about a scare event. And the scare event was post 521. Scare necessary event. Is everyone scared, angry, pissed off? So let's move on here. Post 4821. Well, let's read 4821. What does that say? And by the way, Q told us this was going to happen. What happens if Biden became POTUS knowing he, through Hunter +2, took massive amounts of bribes to change, look the other way, U.S. policies towards China in favor of China, would China own and control the White House? Think about that for a second. Let me continue. So Biden, he was sworn in knowing this. He took bribes from a foreign nation. This is very important. We'll come back to this in a second. Did you know that Biden had to take a private jet to Washington, D.C.? He was not sent a government plane. This was the first time in history this has happened. Why? Why didn't the government send a plane for him? Why did he have to take private transportation? Think about that for a sec. We'll come back to that. Many of us assume when Trump and those in administration were referring to the next administration, it meant the military. We expected him to step down to remain neutral, as Q said. While all that went down, Trump did say that the next administration would take over at noon today. Like many, we thought this was over when Biden was sworn in, because he is now the commander-in-chief. But because of the election fraud, because of the monitoring by military, because of all the declassified information, the military has proof of all of it. So if they have proof of this, the military has a duty under military code to remove the false government and restore a new legal civilian government under military code 11.3. We read this yesterday. Biden triggered this as soon as he was sworn in today. It verifies the first marker. Back in the time of McCarthy era, there was fear that the communists would be able to take over our government. So provisions were put in place for the military to protect us should that happen. These provisions allow the military to take control while they remove the belligerent government and restore a legal civilian government, with the military running the elections to do that. Literally, the military was put in place as the last line of defense of the Constitution should an illegal government be installed. This is why they didn't send a government plane for the president-elect, because they know he is not the illegitimate president. And once he was sworn in, the government became illegitimate, belligerent under 11.3. And the military is now responsible for restoring the illegitimate civilian government. Otherwise, foreign powers will gain control. We were told that the end wouldn't be for everybody. Well, as we can see, it isn't for everybody. We've been told by Trump, Flynn, and others that America would soon get a lesson in the Constitution. Remember, Trump likes to follow the rule of law. He likes to follow and do everything by the book. Well, effective at noon today, when Biden illegally swore with the assistance of foreign nations, he just made the government illegitimate and effectively put the military in control. The first marker was met. Now the optics are clean. Trump's out of the picture. Trump, he's not handling this. The military is. They need to follow the Constitution. Why do you think Trump put everything in place? Chris Miller, FEMA, and everything else. The military right now is in full control. And FEMA and the U.S. military, they're all part of this. Everything is about to change. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we were told that this was going to be done in 30 days. Everyone thought it had to do with Flynn. Yes, it does have to do with Flynn. Flynn is the one who told us about this. Before I get to that, what's very interesting is that the head of the DC National Guard, he said that the National Guard is helping with the peaceful transition of military power, not the peaceful transition of the new Biden administration, with the peaceful transition of military power. This was during a Good Morning America interview. So what do I mean by Flynn was going to tell us that it was going to be done in 30? Well, if you remember, if you've seen it before, Flynn tweeted out something very interesting. It says, "If you will consent to stay 1 month longer, you will render that service to the cause of liberty and to your country, which you probably can never do under any other circumstances." That was a quote from George Washington encouraging his men to re-enlist in the Army, December 31st, 1776. So Flynn is saying 30 days. We know that we've seen this before, that it was going to be done in 30. Flynn did tell us this. Actually, if you look at the second marker, it's the 27th. And if you go back to post 26, think about it logically. The only way is the military, not Trump directing the military. The military, fully controlled, once 11.3 is verified. Has it been verified? Yes, it has been. Which means in the next couple of days, starting today, we're going to see things change. Remember, Trump, he never wanted a civil war. He never wanted people fighting against each other. He's trying to counter the deep state. This is their plan. They thought that we were going to have a civil war, that Trump was going to cause it. This is what they've been trying to do this entire time. He's outsmarted them. And when I say it's going to be done in 30, I do believe that these individuals are going to be wrapped up. Do you know how long the National Guard is stationed in DC for? 30 days. This has been planned from the very beginning. This is about taking back the country. This is about removing the swamp. This is about returning the power to the people. And the only way to do this was to allow these individuals to complete the crime. The crime is now completed. We've hit the first marker. It has been verified. Now Trump, the Patriots, they will take the next step. Is it them? No. It's the military. The military knows it all. They've seen it all. They know exactly what is going on. These troops are not there just to observe an inauguration. These troops are not there to stop Trump supporters. The troops are there because there's an illegitimate president who was put into power by the deep state and foreign governments. This is treasonous to the United States of America. Now, it has begun. And we're going to see the plan unfold. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.